Hello and welcome to my channel and my first ever video. My name is Samuli Kuusisto. I'm a Finnish cinematographer, filmmaker and all-round video production professional. I work as a freelancer currently in the film and TV industry. Since the industry has been a little slow and pretty uncertain at times, at least in my experience, I have a lot of downtime between projects. So I figured I'd start a YouTube channel and start making videos about stuff I do for a living. For my first video, I wanted to talk about a topic that has been riling up conversation between fans and filmmakers alike for a couple of years now, and that is overly dark TV shows and films. This topic has of course been discussed about in many YouTube videos and in Reddit forums and stuff like that, but I still wanted to make this video and kind of look at the issues and problems from the eyes of a filmmaker and a cinematographer, and maybe discover some new perspectives that you didn't know before. So let's analyze some shots. So I wanted to talk about Matt Reeves' Batman from a couple of years ago, and I think it's a good first movie for this topic because I think it's beautifully shot, but even in this film I feel like there's a couple of shots in there that are kind of dancing on the edge of, are they too underexposed or not? And yeah, let's see what we find. So this is the first still shot that I wanted to show you, and as you can see, or actually I don't know if you can see all the different shades through YouTube, but yeah, this is very dark. Like the only highlights are on Batman's armor, a little sliver of his face is showing, and everything else is just like basically complete darkness. And I think this is the first reveal of Batman, so maybe the idea here was that Batman is actually like a child of the shadows, and he's emerging from the darkness. And I feel like in this movie overall, they wanted the darkness to almost feel like a character in itself. And so yeah, I don't know if you can critique these shots too much, because I think that was the motivation for the overall look for this film. I just found it interesting to see these dark shots in like a big movie. So the next one is basically the same thing here. Some highlights on the armor, a sliver of the face is showing, but everything else is dark. This is a little more exposed, if you can say so, but still basically the same. It's shot at night and there's rain falling down and there's some street lights, motivating light here. And here is a shot of Bruce Wayne in his helmet. I don't know if this scene is happening completely at night, but there's definitely a little more contrast happening between the highlights and the shadows, and you can also see some light reflections on the glasses. But yeah, overall it's feeling like more of the same pretty much. I don't really have anything bad to say about these shots, because the whole movie in itself is really fantastically shot, and I think that's one of the only movies and TV shows I've seen in recent years where I think the darkness and the use of darkness was warranted, because it's basically a character in itself in the movie, and I completely understand and agree with that. So next up is House of the Dragon, and I have not seen this show, but I was kind of surprised how underexposed some of these shots look. And I should maybe point out at this point that when I say underexposed, I don't mean that this was shot like underexposed, but for the fans and people that don't really know the filmmaking process that well, these kinds of shots aren't usually shot with the amount of light you see, for example, in this shot. Usually they shoot it way brighter with a lot of lights, but then they bring down the image in post. Basically what happens is that the image has a lot less noise in it, and it's just easier to manipulate the image if you want to make it even more darker or bring it up a little bit. But usually this is not achieved straight in camera. They have more light to work with, and they could bring it up in post if they wanted to. But it seems that they want to make it look like this for us as the audience. This one was a little more interesting. They have a single light source here, which is a candle. And you can see that the candle is basically lighting up this area mostly. I can't even see this character completely here. I can't see what emotion she's having, and I can't see her eyes at all. I think the idea here was that they wanted to make it as real as possible and just light it with a single candle, but I would maybe throw a little bit of a fill light maybe from here and get some light hitting her face, because this is just too dark in my opinion. The next shot is this one, and as you can see, it's basically all black, but the sky and the ocean is showing little specks of highlights. But overall, if you think about this shot, I mean, this is supposed to be moonlight, but the highlights are so soft. I don't know, it's kind of pushing the boundaries, and I think it's even looking a little fake, because if you think about how moonlight is reflecting off water at night, it's way brighter, and in general, moonlight is actually a pretty bright light source. You wouldn't actually think that it is, but it's surprisingly bright. I think this is from the same scene as well, but this is so dark. We have only the very, very soft moonlight hitting her head here, and that's it. We don't have any fill light coming from the face side. If we zoom in, we can't actually see her eyes even, and what emotion she has. And if we look at the scopes for that, it's living basically on the edge of it being just completely black. Then we have this one. I don't know if this is from the same scene, because the look of it is a little different. It's almost like a monochromatic image, like a black and white image. There's not very much color information other than maybe in their faces, but everything else is dancing between black, gray, and a little lighter gray here. I think here you can see this other trend that has been present in TV shows and films in the recent years, and that's the use of soft light. All of the light here in this shot is so soft, and it's not creating any contrast. It's just looking a little flat to my eyes. There is a fine line between being realistic and overly realistic to the point that it's affecting the image and the experience too much. The next one is a favorite of mine to talk about, Silo Season 2. I watched this when it came out. I was actually shocked how dark some of these scenes were. So when I watched this show on my LG OLED TV, I have set my TV to the filmmaker mode, which in theory should give you the intended image that the filmmakers wanted you to see. I don't have any energy saver settings on the TV, but still, every time they were in the abandoned silo, the shots were this dark. And my TV started dimming itself down after a couple of minutes, because it's thinking that there's nothing happening on the screen because it's so dark. That happening during an episode of TV is pretty mind-boggling for me, because it just shows how dark some of these scenes are. Look at this. There's a couple of tiny spots which have some separation, but everything else is so dark. You have to squint your eyes to even see anything. And if we look at the scopes for this one, you can see that it's just a little tiny line at the bottom of the scopes, and you can see that how little dynamic range there is in some of these scenes. It's just a straight line of nothing. Then we have this next one, which is pretty identical to the first one. If we look at the scopes for that one, you can see that there's the same kind of straight line, nothing really separating anything. And this is the follow-up for the previous shot, and the scopes are looking identical. This is a character shot. The only light source that we have in this shot is from here, and we don't have any real lights hitting her face. But of course you can see that there is lights on this side as well. She has a little, like a speck of light in her eyes. So that means that there's a light here, and they have lit her face. But because the trend is to go for this dark look, they just want to make it so dark that you lose the ability to see the character, which I think is kind of counterintuitive to the whole idea. Okay, and then we have everyone's favorite Game of Thrones Season 8. This is a wide shot of the battlefield at night, and they're going for this super soft moonlight, and the only light in the shot is this fire here in the trebuchet. There's more of the same here. Tiny straight line at the bottom of the scopes, and it just gets worse from that. So this is a shot of this night looking into the distance where all the White Walkers are. We have one very soft moonlight source here, and everything else is just falling into complete darkness. And I have to say, of course, in this scene, I think they had the same intention as Batman, which is that they wanted the darkness to be kind of a character in itself. The Night King, of course, represents this force of darkness and king of night kind of thing. But unlike in the Batman, when you saw this on your TV when it came out, you just couldn't see what was happening, like plain and simple. Then we have another one, which is, I think, the Lady Melisandre riding on her horse into the fortress. Pure darkness, there is not a single light source anywhere. I think they had this like a large moonlight softbox system on the sky, but this is just pushed way too dark in post. If you look at the scopes, it's just, there's nothing here. I mean, you have so much room to play with, but you decide to go for this little sausage here. I mean, what is there even to say? Because it's just a dark field with soldiers dressed in black, and there's not a single light anywhere. But not to beat on the show too much, because trust me, people have been doing that for a long time now. This is a shot from the set piece where Arya is stuck alone in the room with all the zombies. And of course, it's a dark room, it's night. They've decided to shoot this as well, like a character shot without any like real light. Again, they have light when they're shooting this, but then they bring it down and we get these kinds of levels. So what's the takeaway here then? From my perspective, I think the biggest issue is kind of twofold. First, the creatives that are making the calls on these productions, which include the directors and cinematographers and colorists, those people, I think, are a bit too obsessed with making darkness look kind of hyper-realistic. And by hyper-realistic, I mean as real as if the audience themselves were standing in the space next to the characters. I think the rationale here is that we as an audience could imagine what it would feel like to actually be in those situations. But that's kind of the thing, because if the scenes are as dark as or almost as dark as real life would be, but we can't see anything, and compression artifacts start showing up and our TV start like going into energy saver mode because they think nothing is happening on the screen because it's so dark, we're kind of taken out of the experience and start feeling negative about the shows. Shows that otherwise would and usually are good. We as an audience don't really mind there being more light than there realistically would be in a given scene, because it actually makes the viewing experience more enjoyable, because again, you can see stuff. And the second thing kind of ties with the first one, and that's where people watch these shows. Modern shows are made primarily for streaming services these days, and where people use these services are mostly on their TVs and laptops and phones and so on. Not a single show is made to be watched in a theater, other than maybe the new Stranger Things final episodes, which apparently come to some selected theaters. But when the majority of the audience consumes this stuff on a mid-tier TV or a laptop screen or stuff like that, and at the same time the scenes are very dark, you can't really see anything other than a muddy, washed out looking image. When combined with the ambient light levels in most living rooms, that's when the real problems really arise. This is not a fault of the audience, but of the creators not recognizing where their products are being consumed and how, and instead trying to cater to some ideal that's not achievable by the majority of the audience. In the music world, for example, audio engineers have for a very long time now been mastering music and all kinds of audio with basically all tiers of headphones and speakers to pretty much ensure that you get the best experience regardless of what you're listening on, and still enjoy the nuances you get when using like higher end audiophile headphones and speakers. I don't really see why it couldn't be like this in the film and TV industry as well. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have for this video. So thank you for watching. I plan to keep making more of these kinds of videos. I don't still have like a 100% plan on what I want to do in the near future and how this channel is gonna look like. I'm taking it pretty slow and just exploring some ideas about stuff I want to do. And yeah, hope to see you along for the ride. So again, thanks for watching and see you in the next one.